under the patriarchy, those of you who believe in the patriarchy, do you think women are oppressed?
Wait, correct me if I'm wrong. Patriarchy is a society where it's predominantly governed by men, correct or not? Or how would you define a patriarchal
I mean, there's a
society?
whole bunch of different, I've heard various different definitions of it, but typically, probably the more generous definition of it would be a society where leadership positions, top positions in corporations, those who occupy positions of power, those in government, are men, typically.
Okay.
I've heard it's a society built by men for men. I've heard that. I've heard a couple other definitions of it, but I mean, you use the term, so
we live in a patriarchal. We live in a patriarchy because most of the presidents and governors happen to be men. Does that not?
okay. Why do you think that is?
I don't know.
Could one of the reasons be because it sounds like you
'Cause
don't
maybe
you don't want to be 50-50 in a
leader-
relationship, right? How many women are like you?
Not a lot nowadays. I feel the modern woman.
I would say there's a lot of
A
women
lot
who
of
No,
want to
I
be
feel
stay
like
at
the modern
home
woman
and
is-
don't want to do 50-50 and want a man
they
to
do
be the
want to
sole.
go 50-50.
Huh?
I've seen
Yes,
seen
there's
a lot of
women
women
that-
going trying to like wants to.
Well,
into
here's a simpler
relationships.
question. Maybe some women don't want to go 50-50, but what proportion of women would prefer a guy to pay on the first date and be a provider? Okay, not you. We know you, but
I don't know the statistics about it.
Oops. Why do you think it is that men? Do you think men are in these higher positions of power and high earning positions because of like some system set up by other men to uphold other men?
I think men are naturally very good at being leaders and
Oh, okay.
and command and yeah, and they're very organized.
So then why would you want
Men are
to
very
dismantle
organized.
the patriarchy that you believe exists if you think men are better leaders than women?
But also we cannot deny that, years ago, like in history, women have been denied the same rights that men have been enjoying since, the beginning of humanity.
You want a guy to be a provider, correct? You want to, when you get married, how much of the household income do you want to be contributing? 0%?
Like money-wise?
Yeah. You want him to be the sole breadwinner, correct?
Yes.
Now, do you you think you'll be able to get that, correct?
Yes.
Let me ask you a question. How many men do you think can go out into the dating marketplace and want to provide zero financially and expect to get a partner? He might want 50-50. He might be able to get it, but he goes into it expecting to provide zero financially.
Like a man expecting a woman to provide zero?
No. How many men can go into the dating marketplace with the expectation for a long-term partner that his future wife will provide 100% of the financial resources?
I don't know.
Very, very few.
What is it? I can name one.
Okay, yes, there's probably dudes that would be fine being stay-at-home. I would argue, though, that the vast majority of women, as a lot of the women here answered, I want a guy who makes at least as much as me or more. Or it's, I want a guy to be the sole provider. So, could it be the case that the reason men earn more than women, which is the wage gap's already been debunked, but for the sake of argument, let's assume that's not the case. Could it be that the reason that there's a patriarchy and that men occupy the highest positions of power and the most desirable jobs and make the most money is because there's a mating pressure on men that does not exist in women? If it's your standard that you don't believe in 50-50, you want a guy to provide for you, then that is a very real and powerful mating pressure that exists on men that does not exist in women. I would argue one of our greatest motivations in life for both men and women is to find a partner. And if it's women's standard that I want a guy to make as much as me or more. Or more importantly, if there's women out there, a large cohort of women that want a guy to be a sole provider, sole breadwinner, doesn't it stand to reason that that creates a pressure on men that does not exist in women, that men need to go out and make money? And could it be the case that the more motivated you are to do something, the more likelihood you are to achieve that?
Yep.
Yeah, the better you
So
perform.
if there is a patriarchy, women created it.
Women really create.
If there's a patriarchy, women created it because you just said you want a guy that pays all the bills. You want a guy who does X, Y, Z. That man, that's attractive to you. So that man, men in America are innovative. They figure shit out. They start businesses. They get ideas. They form alliances with other men who share those same values, same ideas, who are also innovators, entrepreneurs. So they become the top. They become the top, and they're what you want. So if women didn't desire that, they wouldn't have became that.
Also,
I agree with that. Actually.
men, we don't have a fallback of marrying someone richer if we're not earning enough. Like, pursuing a high-paying career is a basic necessity for men. Like, we have to. We can't fall back on potentially finding a woman who's prepared to be the sole breadwinner in a relationship. We don't have that as a fallback. And we do know if we want to get an attractive girl, if we want to get a 10 over here, a high-value woman, we have to be the sole breadwinner and providing in all these ways. So maybe there would be less of a patriarchy if women were like, I'm cool with 50-50, or I'm even cool with fully providing for a man. But y'all aren't. So I can't
I'm
even.
not against patriarchy. I'm against men
Yes,
abusing.
You
their
literally
power.
said you're like go women who are trying to dismantle
Like I
the
believe in
supposed patriarchy.
Christianity, and Christianity is based men being leaders. The man is always the pastor. You know, like men in positions of leadership.
Do you not want a man to be a leader, though?
I do. Like, I'm comfortable with that. What I'm not comfortable with is men abusing that power and using it against women.
Men should not abuse their supposed power.
They do.
Sure, so do women.
But why do you think that happens though? Like not from a moral perspective, but if a man is paying all the bills,
Okay.
and he comes to you, he dates you, you date him. Don't you think he wants you to do everything he wants you to do, be everything he wants you to be?
I understand he will request submission from me, and I'm willing to give it because I'm naturally, submissive to the right man, to a masculine man.
I had just wanted to add that the only reason why there's not a lot of women in office and in these higher like power roles is because a lot of the time women don't want to be in a higher like power role. Like they don't really necessarily always want to be in office. They want to be taken care of. They want to stay home. They want to have a sole provider. So by saying that there is a patriarchy, it just doesn't make sense given the fact that who's actually like, raise your hand if you're like actually thinking about like going to Congress, like doing something in the field of like a high power role, like a judge or like deputy chief, something like that. President. No? Exactly.
Oh, another mating pressure, aside from just the financial component, women are attracted to status.
I was just about to say that.
Women are attracted to status in men, whereas that's not really an attraction trigger.
Yeah.
Like, you can take a really high status woman, but if you put like a more physically attractive girl right next to her, like, the dude's probably going to want the really attractive girl.
But a beautiful woman is a status symbol to a man.
Yes. No, that's true. That's true. But I'm talking status like in your career.
Okay.
Like,
yeah, it's not on their top priorities for men.
like a guy can be butt ugly, but if he's like really fucking high status, like I'm sure you guys can think of like rappers that probably have like an endless supply of women. They're not particularly physically attractive, but they have status. And so men will pursue status, and one of the ways they can do that is by having a really high, like a very respectable or high status career. So that's another mating pressure.
Being an expert in something, as I said, expertise is sexy to women. So it don't even have to. I mean, in today's
skills.
skills.
Napoleon.
In today's age, especially in the West, it can be different domains of expertise that are attractive to women who value those domains. It don't necessarily have to be college or politics, but at the end of the day, women value status, they value expertise, they value skills.
Oh, sorry, did you have more? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, you good.
Nick, can you pull up that same video really quick? So I want to get the other girls' input on this.
The last one that we looked at?
Yeah.
Yeah, let me just restart it.
I just need the text. I don't.
I know, it wasn't up. I pulled up the next video.
If you're not getting spoiled by men in your hometown, come to Miami where pay your bills just because you're pretty. Come on, some dudes paid your bills just because you're pretty, right?
They have.
They have. I'm curious, like, can you tell us the deets? We need the details, Ella. We need the details. So, like, can you tell us, walk us through? You're 24. Can you list some of, like, maybe, have you gotten gifts, vacations, expensive dates?
Oh,
You said
yeah,
have you had your bills paid by a dude?
Yeah.
Like a random dude?
No, not at random.
Like a guy
like
you're-
mostly in relationships.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
What's some examples of that?
My past boyfriend, he paid for my rent, bills,
You're
car.
I mean, it's still a little simpy, but
it's not simpy.
And you still broke up with him?
she.